What makes a gruff starship doctor the warm, human heart of Star Trek? I think the answer starts far from space. DeForest Kelley was born January 20, 1920 in Atlanta, Georgia. A preacher's kid who sang gospel in church and on Atlanta's WSB radio, he once dreamed of real medicine. As one interview recap put it, originally intending to become a doctor, he gave up that idea so he would try out singing on local radio shows. I love that contrast, science and song living in the same boy. I'm Sarah Reed, your pop culture historian, and today I'm sharing a deep research tribute I built from the New Georgia Encyclopedia, archived interviews, and studio histories. This is Golden American Legends, and we're tracing how a kind Southern kid became the conscience of the Enterprise. Here's the tease. He even headlined a 1947 thriller before anyone called him Bones. So how did DeForest Kelley pry open Hollywood's door and end up as McCoy? And why did his warmth anchor a crew full of big egos and bigger ideas? Did you know Bones had a secret childhood dream of being a doctor? Tell me in the comments. Hit like if you love Trek lore. Now let's roll back to Georgia and meet young DeForest. How did a Georgia preacher's son end up talking with aliens on TV? It started simple. DeForest Kelley was born in Atlanta in 1920 to Clora Casey and Reverend Ernest Kelley. Church was the center of his world. He sang gospel, and by his teens, he was performing on Atlanta radio. You can picture it: a shy smile, a strong voice, a tiny studio mic. He even dreamed of becoming a doctor one day. Money was tight, though, so that path slipped away. His mother kept cheering his talent, so the stage kept calling. After he graduated high school in 1937, he took a huge leap. He left Georgia for Long Beach, California to chase the life he heard on the radio. That's a bold move for a teenager in the 1930s. I pulled these details from Georgia Archives and the New Georgia Encyclopedia, and they make his later work feel even richer. A singer, a healer at heart, a kid who took a swing at a dream. But how do you go from a church choir in Atlanta to movie lights in Hollywood? The answer will surprise you. War came, and with it, an unusual doorway to the silver screen. How did World War II lead Kelley into Hollywood? In March 1943, DeForest enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces. Instead of flying, he joined the 1st Motion Picture Unit in Culver City. That unit made training and recruiting films. It was Hollywood in uniform. On set, he worked alongside future stars like Ronald Reagan and George Reeves. Imagine learning your craft while serving your country. That's some timing. When the war ended, life moved fast. On September 7, 1945, he married actress Carolyn Dowling. A few months later, Paramount offered him a 7-year contract. That's a huge vote of confidence for a young actor. By 1947, he had his first starring film, the eerie thriller Fear in the Night. If you've never seen it, add it to your classic noir list. It's a great early look at his intensity. My notes here come from the New Georgia Encyclopedia and archived interviews, and they show a clear path: service, training films, then a studio deal. But a contract doesn't always equal stardom. Hollywood can lift you up, then make you wait. So where did DeForest land? Out on the range, into a world of westerns and tough roles. Did he ride off into the sunset as a Western hero? Not quite. In the 1950s and early 60s, DeForest Kelley became a familiar face across film and TV. You could spot him in Gunfight at the OK Corral, 1957, and Raintree County, 1957. On television, he turned up in Bonanza, Gunsmoke, The Lone Ranger, Perry Mason, and Rawhide. He was steady, sharp, and memorable, but the credits often said supporting player, sometimes even villain. The New Georgia Encyclopedia notes he was often a supporting player or a bad guy. A career as a big-screen leading man wasn't in the cards. Still, these years gave him range. He learned to hold the camera with a glare or a grin. He built a tough Southern style that felt honest, not showy. I cross-checked TV archives and filmographies to track these roles, and the pattern is clear. He kept working and kept learning. Then, just when those dusty trails felt endless, the map changed. From cowboys to the final frontier is a wild leap. So who opened that starship door? A certain creator named Gene Roddenberry, and he had a very specific doctor in mind. How did DeForest Kelley end up as Dr. McCoy on Star Trek? In 1966, Gene Roddenberry was casting a new science fiction show with a big heart. The studio hesitated about Kelley. Roddenberry didn't. He pushed hard. Kelley later said, "In the beginning, I was turned down for the part by the studio, but Gene Roddenberry wanted me for the role. I signed on for 7 of the first 13 episodes. The part wasn't supposed to be much, but I worked hard and was very lucky. I was surprised when I wound up in all the shows. That's the working actor's dream, turn a small shot into a signature role." He stepped in as the Enterprise's chief medical officer, voice warm, accent Southern, bedside manner gruff but kind. Filming kicked off, and suddenly, the cowboy's hands were healing starship crews. I love that turn. It's bold and gentle at the same time. My notes come from a 1960s interview and encyclopedias, and they match how fans remember it. Roddenberry fought for the right physician. Next up, how did Kelley shape Bones into the ship's soul? Let's look at the humor, the heart, and those lines we still quote. What turned McCoy into the compassionate soul of the Enterprise? DeForest Kelley gave him real humanity. He wasn't a background medic, he was the crew's conscience. He scolded with love, he joked to ease fear, he snapped, "I'm a doctor, not an engineer," and "Damn it, Jim," then went right back to caring. A modern tribute, said Kelley, was a standout thanks to the humanity he brought to his character. That matches what we see on screen. Across 3 seasons from 1966 to 1969, he balanced Kirk's bold moves and Spock's cool logic. When tempers rose, Bones brought everyone back to what mattered, people. His southern warmth made space feel human. That's not easy in a show full of tech talk and star maps, and it's why we still smile when he walks into a scene. If you're enjoying this deep dive, please subscribe for more classic TV stories and share this with another Trek fan. I've pored over scripts and commentaries to pin down why Bones hit so hard, and it all points here. Empathy. Now let's check the chemistry that made the bridge crew feel like family, the trio that defined the show for generations. I always smile when I watch the 3 of them on the bridge. Kirk, Spock, and Bones felt like real friends. That wasn't an accident. William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, and DeForest Kelley built trust and timing together. The banter played like music. Kirk charged forward, Spock weighed the logic, and McCoy fought for the human heart. Kelley once noted that each of us seems to have his own set of fans. He was right. You could love one, but you needed all 3. Their scenes felt like home, and when they laughed, we did too. That magic kept the show warm even when the plots got wild. But TV can be rough. After 3 seasons, NBC canceled Star Trek in 1969. The set went dark, and our trio scattered. What happens to a character actor when the role of a lifetime ends? Can you carry that spark into the next chapter? Stay with me. The fans had other plans, and they were loud. They would pull the Doctor back to the sickbay and back into our hearts. Was Bones' story over when Star Trek was canceled? Not at all. At first, Kelley was typecast. Casting directors saw McCoy and little else. Work slowed, but something else was building. In syndication, Star Trek found new life. Fans packed conventions. Studios noticed. DeForest returned as Dr. McCoy in Star Trek the Animated Series from 1973 to 1974, across 22 episodes. Then came the films. Starting in 1979, the original crew reunited for adventures that stretched to 1991. Kelley's McCoy anchored 5 movies in that run, tossing quips and saving lives on the big screen. And in 1987, he made a warm cameo in the pilot of Star Trek The Next Generation, passing the torch with that quiet wit. I checked official Trek filmographies to confirm each step, and the story is clear. Fandom brought Bones back. Their love gave Kelley a second win. That's rare, and it's beautiful. But who was the man behind the irritable charm? Off-camera, was he as gentle as the Doctor we adored? Let's meet DeForest Kelley, the friend, the cowboy, and the gracious star. Was the man behind Bones as warm as the character? Yes. People who worked with DeForest Kelley called him humble and kind. Creation Entertainment, who saw him at conventions for years, said, "D was a magnet who drew people to his warmth and honesty." That line fits him perfectly. He loved charity events. He even joined William Shatner in playful rodeo and horse show skits. The old Western kid never left him. At home, he was steady. He married Carolyn Dowling on September 7, 1945, and they stayed together for 54 years. No scandals, no feuds, just a gentle life in step with his work. Hollywood honored him with a star on the Walk of Fame on December 18, 1991. Fans still stop there to take photos and say thanks. I found many of these memories in convention archives and industry tributes, and they all echoed the same theme: kindness. That's why his doctor felt so real. It came from the person inside the costume. But how do we measure that legacy now? We measure it in the lines we repeat, the smiles we share, and the way his spirit still heals. Why do McCoy and DeForest Kelley still live on in hearts and memes today? Because compassion never goes out of style. Fans often call him the heart of Star Trek. It's true. His humor and care turn tense moments into human moments. We still quote, "He's dead, Jim," and the many "I'm a doctor, not a" zingers. We nod at his stubborn honesty, and we feel better when he's in the room. Kelley earned his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1991, and even after his passing on June 11, 1999, at age 79, new viewers discover him each year. One more fun bit of context. The nickname Bones comes from old slang for surgeons, sawbones. It fits a frontier doctor in space, doesn't it? Modern tributes say he was a standout because of the humanity he brought to the role, and I agree. I see it every time Bones pushes back at cold logic to save a life. So what's the final lesson behind all this love? Let's take one last look at what Kelley's journey teaches us, on screen and off. Here's what I carry from DeForest Kelley's journey. A small role can become a legend if you bring your whole heart. Kelley was a steady character actor for years. Then he poured warmth, wit, and honesty into Dr. McCoy and changed television. That's craft and care. It also says something bigger about teams. On the Enterprise, empathy grounded the mission. Kirk needed courage, Spock needed logic, Bones brought humanity. In our own lives, that balance matters just as much. I also think about the long arc. From a church singer in Georgia to a beloved space doctor, his path took patience and grit. Fans kept him going when the business tried to box him in. That bond between audience and artist is real. When you feel seen, you give your best back. My research notes end with a simple line: be kind and keep showing up. That's the Kelley way. We'll wrap up here, but the story never really ends. It lives in every rerun, every con panel, and every smile at a favorite quote. Ready to close this out with one last tribute? DeForest Kelley turned a gruff space doctor into TV's warm heartbeat. He did it with craft, kindness, and that sly smile. I'm Sarah Reed, and this has been a tribute from Golden American Legends. Thank you for watching and spending time with me on this journey. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more classic film and TV stories, please subscribe, like, and share this video with a fellow Trek fan. It really helps. I think Kelley would smile at the care we took to honor him. We dug into encyclopedias, interviews, and fan histories to bring his path to life. And his message feels simple: lead with empathy. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What did Dr. McCoy mean to you? Comfort, courage, or the voice that kept your crew grounded? Drop your thoughts below. Thanks for watching, and live long and prosper. See you next time on Golden American Legends.